Hello everyone, in this video we will see about UK rail network. The rail network in UK is not a simple thing, it's a very complex piece of business entities involved in lot of different companies running different type of services, and then the ticket system is very complex. We will see all these details in this video. Welcome to channel, this is Sundar Ayappan. Please like, comment and share this video, and also do visit my channel for videos related to UK information, jobs and visa. It will be definitely helpful. This video we will see UK rail network. So UK rail network, is it run by private or government? The question does not have a simple answer because many of the services are run by the private, and then some of the infrastructures are owned by the government. What happens in UK is the rail line, that is the railway tracks and then the stations, everything are owned by the government, the company called Network Rail. They own the railway tracks and then the signaling system, all those things. The trains, that is the coaches on top of these railway tracks or the routes, are run by the private companies who have been bidding for a particular route for a number of years, and then they will be running that as it is given by as a license by the government. So the government will give a license to a company called Great Western Railways. They will run the train services from London to Bristol and then to Wales. So they will be running the trains for 5 years or something like that. They will have their own logo. They will be running, and then they will have their own kind of pricing structure, everything. So they will be like, this is one example. Similarly, you have Northern Rail, you have Greater Anglia, you have the East Coast Main Line, and then you have Southern, Southeastern, Thames Link. There is a line called HS1, which is a fast train running in the southeast of England. So there are different rail lines or different routes which are managed by private companies on top of the network which is which is owned by the government. So partly owned in most of the areas by the government as well as the private. With respect to London region, if you see the whole London region, Greater London, the whole underground network, overground network, and then some of the overground train lines are run by TfL, Transport for London, which comes under the Mayor of London. So Mayor of London, again it's a kind of a government owned network in London. So all the underground tubes, underground trains, overground trains, some of the trains which were previously run by private was taken over by the government, that is the TfL under the mayor, which is not directly controlled by Ministry of Railway or Transport, which is separately owned by or managed by TfL, which is the mayor. London mayor comes under London mayor. So they run the trains around Greater London, and few lines which are taken over by the TfL, that is mayor of London. So many private companies, as I mentioned, running the train lines. So some run from London to Cornwall region, some run from London to Southampton, Portsmouth region, and then some to the Kent, and then few to Norwich, and then through Peterborough to Edinburgh, through Manchester, Liverpool to Glasgow. So, and also in Scotland you have ScotRail, in Northern Ireland you have Northern Rail, in Yorkshire, and then you have there Northern Rail, that is different from Northern Ireland Rail. So these are the many different companies running the trains in UK. Is the ticket is cheaper or is it costly in UK? It depends upon how early you book the tickets. So if you book early advance tickets, you have cheaper rates, and if you are booking for a travel on that day, if you go to the station and buy that in a counter or in a machine, then definitely the ticket price will be more. So in some examples, the ticket price from London to Edinburgh or Glasgow will be cheaper in the flight compared to trains. So that's the kind of a ticketing system with dynamic pricing, and you have different confusing types of train tickets: advance, off-peak single, and then off-peak advance. Lot of different types of different types of tickets are there. So unless you are well versed about these types, you will end up with a simple ticket, or you will end up with a costly ticket. The way you ask them, that make a huge difference. I similarly had experience. I was coming to UK, and then in Gatwick Airport, from Gatwick Airport I have to come to London. If I buy a ticket from that particular machine directly, I want London to Gatwick, that will be £35. But I was asking for a off-peak ticket, and then from Gatwick to Zone 1, then the ticket price was around £15. So it's almost 50% less, but you have to ask a specific ticket type, then only you will get all those discounts. So it's very, very tricky. and for new persons it will be definitely a confusing thing. Lot of these trains have a kind of monthly pass where you can buy for a month and then you can travel anytime you want in a specific route. In some cases, if more than one train are running on the same route, then you have to travel only on a specific train. You cannot take that ticket which you bought for another private company to in another train. There are fast trains which go from London to Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Bristol. So whole UK you can travel within 6 to 7 hours maximum. There is a sleeper train which runs from London to Edinburgh, which is a kind of a not a fast train. It's a kind of an intermediate train. It takes around 6 to 7 hours to travel from London to Edinburgh, but you can sleep and go. But if you take a bus, it will be much faster than the train. One thing you need to make sure why in the UK is the ticket prices will keep on rising every year based on the inflation. The government has signed up such a way with the private companies. Their private companies are allowed to increase the ticket prices on every year based on a specific month inflation. Then that's, for example, in the month of August, the inflation is 8%. The train companies can raise 8% plus 3% on top of it. So you will get around 11% of increase on that particular year. If it is 2% inflation, then it will be 5% increase. So every year, definitely you are sure there will be price increase in the tickets. And you can also buy annual tickets where you can pay for 10 months and then travel for 12 months. Then there is a national network card, rail card, where if you have that card, you have to pay £30 and then I think £30. And then you take the card, and then if you book any further tickets for your travel with you or with your family, then there will be a 1/3 discount will be available. Again, it's not a flat discount. Some train companies will give lesser discounts. So a lot of complexities are there. Many people kind of book their or plan their travel much in advance, and some people prefer traveling by flight, which is cheaper when compared to going by train. So it's a complex thing. So the train services in some of the northern areas and the southern areas of UK are not that much punctual. The service, the money, the value for the money is not that much great, and there is a huge kind of uproar within some part of the people that all the trains should come back to nationalized, in the sense the government should run them. Then now the current Tories are saying that's not a good way to run a train. We have to do a lot of other things rather than running a train. But if the opposition, which is Labour, comes into the power in the next coming election, they are saying that we will nationalize all the rail companies and then all the profit will come to the people, not to the private people and shareholders. So the UK rail network, as I mentioned at the start of the video, the network, that is rail tracks and then the infrastructure, are owned by government, and then the trains are run by the private companies which are leased or kind of licensed by the government, and then they are running the services. The price rise, as I mentioned, will increase every year based on inflation plus 2 or 3%. And even in London, the London mayor decides whether whether the next year price rise will be there. But some years he has mentioned that I will not raise the daily ticket price, I will raise only the monthly ticket price. A lot of other things he can do based on the budget he is having. But on other areas, the private companies decide. So the trains, 90% of trains are air conditioned, and you don't need to worry about that. All are air conditioned. And there is a funny thing in UK, it usually happens in hot weather. If the temperature crosses 30 or 30, reaches 30 degrees, something like that, the trains will stop running due to the tracks becoming bent, and then the over track wires, that is part that takes the electricity, that's kind of got twisted or bungled under the heat. A lot of things, because the infrastructure is not built for running on the higher temperature. It is built between 15 to 25 degree temperature, something like that. If anything cross above that for a prolonged period, then definitely a lot of services will come to halt. That happens every year. Hope this helps you. This is just an introduction about UK rail networks. It will help you. We'll see in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye.